he was hardworking. Maybe not in school so much, but once he got that job at Red Lobster, senior year, he worked like 40 hours a week. Didn't go to school. Yeah, he made a shit ton of money too. So, yeah, Red Lobster, where his legacy lives on.
He was always happy, like always smiling, even like if he was exhausted from working and like going to school, and of course going to the gym. He was just always happy. He always liked making fun of people like I did. Him and I used to make fun of you all the time, and that was probably our favorite thing to do together. And just easygoing. He was really easygoing. He never really got mad about much, like ever. He's probably the easiest going out of all of our friends, honestly.
In mine, I said he was generous.
He was, dude. He gave 10th grade. Austin Ofield asked him for lunch money every single day, and he gave him lunch money every single day. Austin paid him back at the end of the year, but he paid for his lunch every single day.
So, my other favorite memory is just picking him up all the time for school when he didn't have a car. I was like his little chauffeur mom, just picking him up every day, waiting for him. And he was always late because he was always asleep, because he never woke up on time. So I just remember driving past his development, seeing his spiky hair coming fast forward towards my car, so I had to turn around to go back and get him. And that was probably my fondest memory, when he didn't have a car and I just drove him wherever because I didn't mind.
This one time, this is when he first got his car, but he didn't have a license or a permit. And he's like, dude, can you bring me to the shop? My car's over there. I was like, yeah, I guess. So I pick him up, we drive to the shop, and I sit out there, I wait for him. He gets in his car, it doesn't start. He goes back in, the guy jumps it, whatever. So I'm like, Mauricio, you don't have your license or your permit. I'm gonna drive behind you so like a cop can't like get behind you. And he's like, all right, sounds good. He pulls out, I pull out behind him, coming up on a yellow light. He guns it straight through the light. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And I stopped at the light. I was like, he's done for. And as I was driving, like as soon as the light turns green, a cop pulls up behind me with his lights on, and I pulled over. And the cop went flying by. I was like, oh no, I hope it's not him. So the type of student he was. Well, I mean, he was never in any of my classes, but I know he hated school, because who doesn't hate school? But yeah, he was just like, oh, fuck this. But I think his grades were pretty good.
Yeah, the crazy part was that he was very smart.
Yeah, he did well in like on his tests and stuff in the class. I mean, homework was iffy. It was like a hit or miss. He'd always be like, oh, I forgot. But yeah, he was probably like a B+ student, B average student. Yeah, he just hated it. He hated going. He was always like depressed with his headphones in. Oh, he always watched Netflix in class still somehow, just aced the test. It was, yeah, he was like that.
So, you and I drove in separate cars because we got out of class at different times. So I pull into the school parking lot, and I was always there before everyone because I was always early. And I see you pull up next to me on my right, and Mauricio always pulled up on the spot on my left. So I was in the middle of the both of you. And we waited as long as possible before class started, waiting for him. But I just assumed that he was just skipping or just slept in too late, because he did that a lot. So I didn't bother like texting him because I didn't want to bother him. And so it just went on with my day, went to class.
Second period is the class that we had. There's 2 aides standing in there. The teacher wasn't there. I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah, there's the 2 aides in there. They collected our our papers, which I thought was weird too. And then she was like, one of your classmates has passed away. I was like, shit, who was it? I didn't expect it to be him. I thought he was at home sleeping. But yeah, she was like, oh, it's Mauricio. I was like, holy shit. Like, my stomach just fell out of my body. Like, I couldn't feel it. Like, there was like a piece of chalk in my stomach that just expanded throughout my whole fucking stomach. I was like, holy shit. And everybody just started crying. And I didn't really know what to say. I couldn't say anything. Like, I was literally speechless. Like, I was a mute for basically the rest of the day. I was in shock the whole time. For like 2 weeks after that, I was just in shock. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it until I finally went to the funeral and to the mass and all that stuff. How did I deal? I don't really know. I didn't eat. I must have lost 10 pounds at least. I didn't sleep. I didn't really know how to deal with it. I was just kind of... I didn't do anything. I just felt like heavy. I didn't want to do anything. It took me a while to get out of bed, but yeah, I just kind of laid there and thought. That's all you can do, really. Like, everybody deals with it differently, and that was just how I did it.
Dealing with his death was probably the hardest death I ever had to deal with. I've dealt with a lot of losses in my life, but just one of my best friends that I saw mostly every single day, to never seeing him at all just was horrible. He was just such a lively, happy person, and it just took part of you away when he left.